Good morning. I'm meteorologist Cody-Matz. Wanted to give you an update on our snow and our snowstorm that is now passing us by. The bulk of our accumulation, vast majority, 99% of our accumulation is done. But obviously, with the damage being done, there's plenty to clean up across the Twin Cities Metro. Looking at downtown St. Paul, the last gasp of the snow pushing through at the moment. Temperatures right now in those low to middle 20s, right now sitting at 24, so at least it's not super cold. Salt sand solution MnDOT puts down will be rather effective at this temperature. Winds are starting to pick up though. However, will be less gusty than what we were forecasting just because our low ended up a little bit farther to the south. So we had less rain mixing in yesterday, although we did get a dose, a little bit of rain snow mix and some sleet kind of pellets mixing in for a couple of hours into yesterday evening. What time was that? 5 or 6 p.m. Obviously depend on your location. Especially in the South Metro. That held overall snow totals back just a little bit. Which is what was overall expected. But generally speaking, 2 to 5 inches across the Twin Cities Metro. We'll talk totals here in just a second. Did want to focus on some of the jam cams. There's no look outside. Notice the jam cam left, I should say, right side of your screen. Most of our roadways look something like that or something similar to that, with plenty of snow-covered roads and lots of slush, lots of snow out there at the moment. I'll see if I can bring this up completely full here as pull up that jam cam in center screen. There we go. That gives you a little bit better view of what's happening on the road. So this is in Edina. This is Highway 62, Lindale Avenue, 35W in there as well. You can see very snow covered there. Similar story if you look farther to the north and west. Going to Robbinsdale, this is Highway 100 and County Road 81, exactly what you would expect in this part of the metro. Let's head towards White Bear Lake, shall we? They had about 4.5 inches reported in White Bear Lake, North Oaks area. And there you go. There's 35E and County Road 96. Actually, a pretty solid lane in the center there, open in that particular spot. We'll head between the downtowns into St. Paul. This is going to be 94 at Lexington Parkway. There's 1 or 2 lanes open. It looks like plenty of salt sand solution down in that particular spot. And let's head to the South Metro. This will be in Burnsville. I'm going to quickly switch cameras because that one's going to be snow covered. There you go. There's Burnsville Parkway, 35W, but here's 35W Highway 13. It was kind of a mess getting into work real early this morning, late last night, however you want to call it. Coming to the station, I live in Burnsville, of course. And let's head farther to the north. There is some report of some sort of incident on the road. Looks like may have been a spin out. This is at right at the Forest Lake split, just north of the split itself. Looks like tow truck is on scene, so things moving along smoothly there. We'll head to the Northwest Metro as well and just give you an idea of some of the road conditions in Maple Grove. This is 94 Maple Grove Parkway. Actually, some decent road conditions there, although it does appear to be a little bit icy. So exactly what you would expect in terms of roadway conditions across the greater Twin Cities Metro. So now trimming back some of our warnings. You can see kind of falling off there. Just got this at the top of the hour. So there's what's left of your warning zones right along and just north of 94. We still have a few flakes flying, but again, accumulation is generally done. Breezy conditions are picking up. We're holding windy conditions to portions of southwestern Minnesota. We're getting gusts 45 plus. For the metro, we may get gusts to 30, but not quite as gusty as what we were expecting yesterday. Advisory zones still in the rest of central and southern Minnesota. All of this is done and winds down at 6 a.m. Now, it's not magically going to improve in terms of conditions, but our overall advisories and the National Weather Service saying, hey, heads up, that heads up is no longer effective after 6 a.m. So there's the last gasp of some of our snow pushing across the greater Twin Cities Metro now through southeastern Minnesota. Most of our accumulation occurred, honestly, between before 9 or 10 o'clock last night across the metro. Then this kind of rolled its way in. We may have squeezed out another ½ inch or so from this batch of light snow, but northern edge now pushing across the 694 corridor. So give it an hour, 4 or 4:30, and we're generally done in the metro. However, not entirely done with seeing the flakes today, quite likely. That batch will push through. There will be a large lull for the rest of your morning commute as road crews basically clear off the roads and catch up to things that happened yesterday. But this little batch of moisture will likely roll south and eastward As it does so, we'll eventually get at least some flakes and flurries in the Twin Cities metro. You see that over the next few hours. There goes the last gasp of accumulating snow. This is more flurries or maybe squeezing out a dusting as it rolls in. Notice your time frame. Right after the mid-morning hours, so generally just after the morning commute, 10, 11, 12, somewhere into the lunch hour. We see a few more little flakes and flurries and just enough of a dusting that if you're clearing off your driveway, your sidewalk, your back deck this morning, you may have a little tiny coating just to kind of irritate you as we get into the middle part of the day. In terms of snowfall totals, I mentioned a few earlier. White Bear at 4.5 looks like the most in kind of our winter storm warning zone, so exactly where we expected. Cambridge just shy of 7 inches. It looked like Motley was about 7. Looks like Brainerd Lakes area was in that general ballpark as well. In the winter storm warning zones, North Branch coming in with 6. Looks like most metro spots will be somewhere between 2 and 5. Golden Valley want to be a little different at 5.3. Coon Rapids a little over 4.5. St. Cloud in that general ballpark. Falcon Heights at 4. That I measured my house in Burnsville at 3. Officially 3.4 at MSP Airport. That was before midnight. That doesn't include what's fallen since then with this little batch of very light snow pushing through. Like I mentioned, we may add another ½ inch to that total. So probably going to be just shy of the 4-inch mark officially at MSP Airport. The sharp cutoff in terms of the snowfall is just south of the metro. We were expecting that kind of in the south metro, but it looks like it winded up in extreme southern Scott County. Essentially, Gaylord to about Faribault is about as far south as the accumulating snow got because temperatures were just too warm. And you can actually see the warm bubble. This was yesterday morning. Notice temperatures climbing into yesterday evening. We did manage to run up and touch a 29. We were expecting a 33 or 34. One of the reasons why we ended up with about an inch of additional snow accumulation in most spots in the metro than what we were expecting because we didn't get as much of a mix because temperatures were a bit cooler. But did have some solid mid to borderline upper 30s and even some low 40s in Windham yesterday evening, and then all that now diving to the south and east over the last few hours. All of our temperatures are back below freezing, but we did form a little bit of a crust in southern Minnesota on the top of that snow, and so with the bulk of the winds pushing through, we did not get ground blizzard conditions in southern Minnesota. I'm not saying that there isn't a little bit of blowing snow, sure, but did not have the super low visibility and whiteout conditions, which was a possibility. So current sustained wind speeds at 39 miles an hour in Windham. So there's a lot of wind out there in southern Minnesota. For the metro, it's 10 to 15 plus. We've seen some gusts up to about 30 miles an hour in the metro. Over the last hour, we've seen gusts close to 50 in Windham. Gusts across portions of South Dakota yesterday. Aberdeen, if you're familiar with that, northeastern sections of South Dakota, a 74 mile an hour wind gust, typically associated with thunderstorms, not with some sort of clipper system pushing its way through. So we talked a lot of the last 36 to 48 hours about the angry clipper. The angry part, the true angry part of that was the wind, which we will miss for the most part, other than portions of southern Minnesota. Obviously, if there's a breeze, falling temperatures, wind chills have tumbled a bit in the evening and overnight hours. Single-digit wind chills across the north. Feels like 12 right now in the metro. That will probably hover upper single digits and low teens that will take us through the afternoon. So here's a look at that day planner. Walk you through the next 12 to 24 hours or so. And we will find some leftover flurries that will take us into the lunch hour. Like I mentioned, 99% of our accumulation is done, but another dusting potentially between, say, late morning and to about the lunch hour. That moisture is finally done, but the cloud cover will certainly linger. Temperatures go nowhere. Generally hover either side of 20 in the metro, give or take a degree or two, so ranging anywhere from 18 to 22, we'll call it. We'll go for an arbitrary afternoon high of 21. And then we'll fall again this evening as temperatures trail off. We're back into the low teens that will take us through the late evening hours. We do have another chance for some flurries or some very light snow, especially in southern Minnesota going into Thursday, and then an Arctic plunge as we get into your Friday as things really get cold this upcoming weekend. Obviously, we'll discuss it all coming up on the Fox 9 Morning News. We start early this morning at 4 a.m. to cover all of this and get you caught up on the latest news as well.